to another episode of the Quisha King Show, and we're going to be discussing strategies on how to make more conservatives. As you guys know, I am more about strategies on how we win more people to the conservative side to save our country. So, I had mentioned in one of my last videos about there only being one narrative that people hear, and how that narrative can just ruminate and just remain in the person's head. So I came across this quote from George Washington because I really feel like we're in a war right now. As you guys know, I as a Christian, I believe that we are in a spiritual war. And so I wanted to just kind of look at some of America's founding fathers and see what are some of the quotes and things that, what was going on in their minds when they were when they were at war and what they did. And the quote that I came across, it says, when one side only of a story is heard and often repeated, the human mind becomes impressed with it insensibly. The word insensibly means in a manner not to be felt or perceived, imperceptibly, gradually, in an insensible manner, in a numb manner, without feeling. So basically, when only one side of a story is told, and it's told over and over and over again, it makes the person numb, and you just keep hearing that thing over and over and over. And I just thought that was very fitting to what we're seeing right now. When only one narrative is being told, when only one when the mainstream media is only telling one side of a story. We've seen so many times where we'll see a video that comes out and it's one side of the story and everybody goes crazy reacting, and then come to find out there is, the side that was told is not even really what happened. The story that comes to mind most recently was the story about the bike, where the white woman and the black guy had claimed that he bought the bike, but that was the narrative, that this white woman was stealing this black bike from this white guy. But it turned out she had actually purchased the bike. She had receipts, hunty, okay? And so, that story pounded into everybody's mind. It made people numb. It makes them, not perceive what's really going on. We've seen that so many times. And that's why it's important to wait. And the Bible talks about this too, to wait to hear the whole matter of a thing. Waiting to hear the whole matter of something. So when something is constantly pounded into the atmosphere, into society, you get what we see today. And so let's see, we're gonna say so that's not even a rare thing. Like, we've heard all throughout our lives growing up that there's always there's more than one side to a story. And this brings me to you guys know I like to deal in principles, because principles never change. Principles never change, no matter what situation you're in. Universal laws, biblical principles, universal laws, they are set in stone. It doesn't matter what circumstance you're in, they never change. So as long as you are dealing in principle, you can apply that principle in any situation. So with this takes me to the law of polarity. So have you guys ever heard of this law? So I think I've talked about it a little bit before. The law of polarity says basically that there are polarity. There are polar sides. So you have good and bad. You have light and dark. You have connection and disconnection. And the beautiful thing about that is that anytime one thing is happening, there's something, the opposite of that thing is happening as well. So we see a lot of evil that's happening in our country, right? We see all the pride stuff that's going on. We see all of the, the LGBTQ, the trans stuff, the grooming of our children, the critical race. We see all this stuff that's just pumped into our heads over and over and over. That's one side of the narrative, right? But God, but God, there is also a good side that is happening. That's why when we see all the chaos, we have to remember that there is good that is happening in the world as well. And we need to tap into that side and push that side out more and get more people involved in this good side to combat the other side. Otherwise, there will only be one side of the story that's told. Doesn't mean that the other side isn't happening, the good side isn't happening, but the narrative is being able to run rampant. We're not having anything that is visibly combating that side. And so we have to remember that every time we see all of these bad things that are happening, there's something good that is happening as well. This reminds me of in the Bible when Elisha and Elijah, this is like one of my favorite stories, this is one of my favorite quotes in the Bible, where Elijah prays and he asks God to open up heaven so that Elisha could see that those that be for us are greater than those that be against us. Glory be to God. Hallelujah. So when we hear all these things, we have to remember that those that be for us are greater than those that be against us. So I want to leave you with that as we discuss this a little bit further, to be encouraged. Be encouraged through all of this Pride Month and all of this foolishness. We know what the rainbow really means. We can take heart, and we know that that is a promise from the Lord. And we don't let the enemy steal from God. We know that the enemy, he only comes to kill, steal, and destroy. If he ain't coming to kill something, steal something, or destroy something, then he ain't coming. So he has come to take the rainbow, to try to take that promise, but he fails. He has failed. Okay? With this narrative that has been this one-sided narrative that's been running around for decades, now we're seeing the fruit of that narrative, and we see our children that their mental state has really been affected because this one-sided story has been pounded in their heads, on TV, on social media, in the classrooms, everywhere they go. And so we're seeing our children become unstable because of all of this one-sided chaos. Another thing when we're talking about education, on top of the children being in chaos, they are in chaos and they have not been taught well. They have not been educated to know how to think, to know that there could be another side to this thing that they're dealing with. They're not even taught to look that there may be another side. They're just taught that this is the way to go, this is the only way to be. Because that's how they're pushing it in society. That if you're against the lifestyle of LGBTQ, then you're a bigot. There's no way else to think about it. If you don't want your child, if you say boys are boys and girls are girls, you're a bigot. You know what I mean? It's like there's only one way to think about it. And so the children are being indoctrinated into this idea as well, that there's only one way to think about it, on top of not being educated to know that there's other ways to think about things. Because remember, the definition of insensibly is a numb manner without feeling. So the Bible tells us hope deferred makes the heart sick. So with all of this chaos being pumped into our kids, it removes the hope, that they become numb. If you notice, a lot of kids feel lonely. They don't feel like, they don't even want to do the things that they used to do, and this is why it's so important for parents to be involved. So important for us to be involved, because many of these things go back to government. They go back to, this kingdom of darkness and this kingdom of heaven. The government of heaven and the government of the kingdom of darkness. And so these two polar things are battling. And we are seeing our children be affected from the kingdom of darkness because we have not been pushing the kingdom into culture. We've let the kingdom of darkness come into culture. And so as we are out and engaging with people, you're probably like, well, what does this have to do with politics, or what does this have to do with engagement strategies and winning people over? It has very much to do with it, because when you are engaging with people, you want to be able to show them the difference of the two sides. Show the difference of the two sides. So, for instance, if you were engaging with education, people will say, well, I think that it's let the kids be let the kids try to figure out what gender they are, or let the kids try to, people will try to come up with any old thing. But you want to show them that if you keep allowing them to go down this road, that outcome that they're going to get with this one-sided idea, because they're only getting the one idea that, kids need to be exposed to the pornography, kids need to be exposed to the LGBTQ and all that comes with all of that. They're not getting the other side of the destruction that comes with that. So they're painting the kingdom of darkness as a kingdom of light. And the Bible says that the enemy comes as an angel of light. Because an obvious lie would be hard to sell to people, right? So the lie has to be kind of covered up. It has to make it look like truth. Because nobody would believe an obvious lie. It has to look like the truth for it to be believed. Otherwise, people would be like, no. But so they have painted, this gender stuff as truth. They've dressed it all up, literally. They've dressed it all up and tried to make it seem like something that it is not. And so when we're engaging with people, you have to show them that there are always going to be two different sides. So regardless of the issue, and they can say, well, the Republicans hate minimum wage. Well, the other side to minimum wage is you keep people out of a job. You keep people out of a market. You could, you show them, do you really want people to not have a job because you pushing for these issues? I mean, I would rather for people to be able to work for whatever amount of money that they decide that they're willing to work for. I don't want to be telling people what they should work for. I would rather have the opportunity to say, yes, I want to take this job. No, I don't want to take that job. So when we're engaging with people, we need to be able to show them both sides of the matter. Let's look at the whole matter of this thing. Let's walk this thing out. And so when you do that, you take that approach, and you are not just hammering your side as if it is the only side, because you can turn it and you can start to do what they do as well when we're not having a balanced conversation. And so you want to be able to show them the other side. Let me know if this has been helpful to you at all. If so, please click the like button and go ahead and subscribe. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.